Hey, what's up, Scott Balkenbear with Imagination Creation Films, and today we answer the age-old filmmaking question, what's a DIT? So welcome to the new, faster, more efficient version of Scott's filmmaking videos. And let's dive right on in because that's how we're rolling now. What is a DIT? A DIT is a digital imaging technician, and it's a position that's been created over, well, kind of a long time now. It's in the world of the digital world where it introduced new problems. So originally, when they were shooting on film, only really the camera operator got to see what was going on. Everybody else got a really bad version from a tap that was coming from the film camera because you couldn't just expose what was happening. So that's the way it was done in the past. So when digital came, everybody got to see what's happening on camera, and because they could just plug in an SDI cable and get a feed from it. That changed everything. And what happened was they were finding various things, like they might want to shoot log on the camera, but you don't want to give Video Village, and Video Village is And Video Village, for those who don't know, is basically where all the producers and everybody else sit. They kind of sit off to the side, and they sit in a tent, and they kind of watch what's going on so that they're not directly on set, but they're not far. And in Video Village, they don't want to see log. They don't understand log. They don't understand the filmmaking process. They understand the numbers, and then they understand the final product. So if you were to feed Video Village a log image, the first thing they would say is, hey, can we get some contrast? Can we add some saturation? This looks really, really washed. That's the kind of stuff you get from Video Village. So the DIT was created for two reasons. Number one was to give them and everybody else in Video Village a somewhat finished look. Now, it's not perfect. The director and the DP, they all sit down and they help form this kind of look of the way it's going to look when it's graded. And they've done this through camera tests, so they know how they kind of want to stylize everything. They might create a LUT, a lookup table, or some type of simple grade that can be applied so that it gets it close, so that the people in Video Village have an idea what it's going to look like, even though it's going to look a lot better, obviously, when they're done. So the DIT can actually intercept the feed from the camera, apply that light grade, and send that back out. They can also send multiple grades to multiple people. Some people say, you know what, I want a clean feed, or I want log, or I want to see the finished product. And they can send out multiple feeds with multiple grades going on. And that is one of the roles of the DIT. The DIT is really there to support the best possible picture. And they actually interface a lot with the camera operator and the DP, making sure that the menus are configured properly, that kind of thing. So that is one side of a DIT. So the other job of a DIT is media management. And when you're on set and you're spitting out gigs and gigs of data per minute, it can get out of control fast. You've got multiple cameras, you've got audio, you've got all kinds of things going on, and they want to make sure that nothing gets lost. And that's where the DIT comes in, the media management. So somebody walks in, they pull out a mag and they say, okay, here's A003, I need that done. Perfect. They place it. Every DIT has their own little system. I have a system where I have inbound, in process, and completed. And so I actually just tape off of my desk or my cart, wherever I'm at, and the card comes in, I place it there. I don't let anybody else place it there. That way I know what's going on. And then I type it in my little notepad just so I know where it's at. Then I'm going to take this card and I'm going to put it in process. And then you use software. And this software, there's lots of different software out there, but you need to validate every bit that goes over to your copies. And so we get drives. On a small set, we're going to get drives like this. On a large set, we're going to get 2 RAID arrays. We're going to get even giant RAID arrays. On a motion picture, you're going to get huge RAID arrays that are super fast because you can't wait. It's not cool. So these are like 4 terabyte drives. You have a primary and a backup. Card goes in your reader, your software goes in and says, I take this one and I'm going to copy it to both of these at the same time while validating. And this may read at 500 megabytes per second. This is going to read or write at 150 megabytes per second. You do the math, the days get long. Oh, here comes somebody. Hey, I've got these 2 audio These are from audio, so I need those in. And this is from B-Cam over there. We're just kind of doing some behind the scenes. So then the same thing. Now we're placing these cards in the queue. We're getting them processing so that they're duplicating and replicating to here. And then they go over to here when they are done. And then you can pull off the tag at that point. This card is now ready to be reformatted and done. I have validated and triple checked. You don't want to be the guy or gal that loses data. So you triple check everything and make sure that it is sitting there. And so once you triple checked it, you can place it in your thing and it's ready for everyone to go. So it's kind of a juggling act, and it's really kind of a funny process because there's a little bit of setup that's done. Once it's all set up and everybody has the feeds that they want, then you're waiting. You're sitting around just kind of twiddling your thumbs. You try to be helpful. You do whatever you can to help people on set, but you don't get to do anything until someone hands you a card. So until they release the first mags, you're just sitting there. And then when they do, all the torrent of water comes crashing down on you, and then you're working all day. And you know, the job is not done until the job is done, until you have copies on 2 different drives, and they'll take one, send it home with Bob, and they'll take one, send it home with Sue, or they may FedEx them. They do that kind of stuff. They have them go different paths, different cars. As soon as they're done, they leave the area and go to 2 completely separate, safe areas. You don't want to be the person that loses data. So that is basically in a nutshell what a DIT. And the reason I brought this up is someone asked me, I'd posted that I was DITing the other day. And so I said, what's a DIT? I said, it's a great time for video. So that's why I did it. So as always, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below. Please subscribe. I do have a Patreon if you'll support me that way. You know what? This is a community. Let's go fast. So as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passion center around your life. Let your life center around your passion.